This week on the show, we're looking at a slow weekend, robots v soldiers, Black not Superman, the paranormal, the Exorcist gets the Halloween treatment, and more right here on the Misa JARcast. Welcome to episode 27 of the JARcast Movie Podcast. I am Jake from Jacob Anders Reviews, your host per usual, and I am back this week, unlike last week when, we had a show, but I deleted the whole goddamn show right after completing it. And that kind of sucked, so, I did it live. But this week, I'm back to normal, and what do you know? It's probably the slowest week of the year since I've been doing this podcast. There ain't shit going on in Hollywood this week. I mean, it's like really slow. Slow box office, slow news, just nothing's going on. It's like the video game industry on the week leading up to E3 or the week after E3. There's just nothing. But even on Hollywood's slowest week, there's always a little something. There's always a bit of news that they eke out, and I do have a few stories to look at. And let's go ahead and jump into those with our first story, which is becoming kind of a norm here on the show. We're going to talk about the box office because I guess that's news now with movies that are actually coming out in theaters. Movies have been coming out, yes I know, but in actual theaters, big movie tentpole summer movies, if you will, that's become kind of an interesting thing to look at. Who's making money, who's being successful, who's not. And this week's story, this week's number one spot was filled by a movie that, while me myself, I wasn't really surprised. I guess I wouldn't have been surprised if this movie was or was not in the number one spot. Honestly, a lot of people are acting as if they're really surprised about it. And I don't get that. I was just kind of like, okay, and yes, this movie was number one, and I am talking about M. Night Shyamalan-Dingo's Old is the number one movie of this weekend, but with such a slow weekend in sales, number one still ain't much. However, it means more to Old than it does some of the other contenders here. So Old came in with a domestic pull of $16.5 million. In comparison, the past few weeks we've been talking about movies pulling in $60 million and $30 million and $40 million, things like that. 16.5 does not seem like much, but we'll get to why 16.5 is quite a bit for Old in just a moment. Right after that, we have this week's other release, which was Snake Eyes at $13.8 million, so not too far behind. But that movie, that 13.8 is not as nice as that 16.5 to Old. And then we have last week's two contenders going head-to-head still, but this time that would be Space Jam and Black Widow. This time Black Widow came out on top, and that is 1.6. That's not correct. I recorded that wrong. I think it was at 11.6 actually. $11.6 million at the box office. Which, yes, that's the number 3 spot, and I guess number 3 is still the bronze, but man, Black Widow, it ain't looking good for you. But don't think Space Jam's looking much better, because Space Jam's sitting at $9.5 million at the number 4 spot in its second week, bringing its total somewhere in the neighborhood, I think worldwide, it's somewhere in the neighborhood of about right around $80 to $100 million. It might be actually lower than that. Probably should have put that on my notes. But anyway, Black Widow is at, and over the 3 weeks it's been out, it's sitting at about 100 and almost 200, not quite $200 million actually. I think it's 170 something million dollars, somewhere in that neighborhood. So not even its budget. Neither of these movies have hit their budget, and they're only pulling in 11 and 9, like $10 million each per week. So it's not looking good for these two, honestly. Both of which are on VOD as well, or streaming platforms, HBO Max and Disney Plus. I don't think, because I said last week, well, let's see how next week goes. Let's see how these movies look next week, and then we'll decide whether that'll give us a better idea if they're going to be successful or not. Space Jam, much like Black Widow, had a drastic downturn. It just fell way off in its second week. Both these movies did not have legs. Now, as far as this week's releases, Old and Snake Eyes, I don't think they're going to have legs either, especially considering the releases coming up this week. I think all these movies in the top 4 are going to drop off again in their consecutive weeks next week. And none of them, well, the 2 Space Jam and Black Widow, seeing as how they cost so much to make, being $150 million and $200 million, they're just not going to be profitable. These 2 movies have to, like I said last week, have to make $300 million and $400 million before they even start to turn a profit. I don't see it. I don't think it's going to happen. If they get to that, they're not going to do much beyond that. So these movies, as far as executives at studios are concerned, are failures. And, you know, the reviews kind of reflect that. Neither of these movies were reviewed very well. Granted, Black Widow was reviewed better, and I will say Black Widow was a better movie than Space Jam. Space Jam was what it was. I didn't hate on it as much as some others did. I didn't love it myself, but the movie wasn't for me either. Black Widow was just kind of, why is this movie made? Both of them were honestly kind of like that. So yeah, these 2 movies, I'm going to say, are probably, so far, probably some of the biggest failures of the year, considering other movies are proving you can make money right now. And also at the top 5, to round out the top 5, the top 5 spot is a little old Fast 9 or F9 sitting down there still making a little bit of money with its $4.7 million domestically. And you're like, oh, that's cute. 4.7? Yeah, but this movie has already crossed $600 million in the pandemic era. It has already made well over its budget. It's doubled its budget, and it's still making money. So this movie is nothing but profit right now. It's making nothing but money for them worldwide. So F9 has been quite the success, regardless of what you thought of the movie. Really, every movie in this top 5 has not been reviewed terribly well, honestly. This is not a stellar top 5 as far as reviews go. And I know reviews aren't like the be all end all, and that's coming from a reviewer. But still, none of these movies are like I think people are going to be seeing as the greats or anything. And probably not in the top 10 of the year for a lot of people. I haven't seen Old. I've seen every one of these movies except for Old as of yet. I don't know if I would rank any of these in the top 10. I did enjoy F9, but I absolutely see its shortcomings, and I'd have to look at the rest of the releases that I've seen this year. I could probably pick out 10 other movies I saw this year that I enjoyed more than F9. It'd be close, that's for sure, and we've still got, 5 months to go. But what I was talking about a moment ago for our 2 newbies this week, Old and Snake Eyes, why this amount of money they made, while it's not much, it does mean a bit to them. Snake Eyes, while not on the caliber of Black Widow or Space Jam, did cost $88-some-odd million to make. So it's got to make somewhere in the neighborhood of $165,000-$170,000 or $1 million. And I don't know. I'm not sure about the foreign box office for this movie. G.I. Joe is a very American property, but I know that it is popular in some other countries. So it might pick up. It might have some legs in some foreign territories at some point. I don't think it's been released everywhere yet. And it is theaters only, so it might eke out its budget. I don't see this movie being super profitable either way. But honestly, if they could just turn a little bit of a profit, that's better than, some of the other members on this list. But Old, that's the interesting one. Well, yeah, $16.5 million is definitely not the number you want to see when your movie is released on opening weekend, in most cases at least, with these big budget films. Old, especially with Shyamalan's name behind it, this is not normal for him. However, the movie did only cost $8 million to make. So in its opening weekend, it has already doubled its budget. So it is being profitable as of right now. So it is, in a sense, it is flat out more successful. It is being more successful than the other movies besides F9. The other movies on this list, so on the top 4, it is more successful than Black Widow or Space Jam. The movie's not being reviewed very well from what I understand. I've tried to stay away from reviews as much as possible because I haven't actually seen the movie yet. Any movie I think I'm going to review, I don't watch other reviews. I typically don't watch reviews first because I don't want to get tainted. So my understanding is the basic consensus I'm getting from people, just things I've seen here or there, is that the movie is not up to snuff in a lot of people's books. But hey, whatever. I don't know, up to snuff or not, it's making money. I mean, they said that about F9 as well, and it's being profitable. So number 1 and number 5 on this list being very profitable. The other ones probably not so much. And that is the box office for the week of July 28th. For what it's worth, it's a really fucking weird month, or a really weird year, man. When Snake Eyes has more potential of being the G.I. Joe movie, the third G.I. Joe movie, has a bigger potential for being profitable than an MCU movie like Black Widow. That's fucking crazy. And old M. Night Shyamalan movie is going to be more profitable. It might not make more money, but it's going to be more profitable. So that's crazy. I mean, it is what it is. That's one more crazy thing to add to the 2020-2021 era of film and just the world in general. But is what it is. Alrighty, so after that, we're going to jump into a story that I thought the headline is what really grabbed me. And it's what I used as well, and I thought this was pretty funny. And it concerns one of our top 5 films this week, and that would be one of last week's movie, actually, Space Jam 2, Space Jam: A New Legacy. And if you pay attention to reviews and things of that nature, it has been getting just shit on left and right. It's not getting good reviews. I'm not telling anybody anything they don't know. But probably the most scathing review it has gotten was fairly short form, and it's not necessarily so much what the person said, it's who it's coming from. And that would be from the original director, from the original Space Jam's director, Joe Pitka, I think it's Pitka, P-Y-T-K-A, Pitka, whatever. Joe, the original director, had a few things to say about it, and pretty much he said, LeBron, you ain't no Michael. And I thought that was pretty funny. It says Space Jam's original 1996 director, Joe Pitka, says it took him 5 different viewings to make it through the film's 2-hour running time. Damn. That's great. It took me 2 times, but not because I was bored necessarily, but just I started watching it late at night and I fell asleep. I was sleepy. But I did fall asleep the first time, admittedly, and I did have to finish it. The truth is that LeBron ain't Michael, he says. Also among his complaints were the film's insignificant soundtrack, I agree with that, and Bugs Bunny. Pitka said that the new version of Bunny looked like one of those fluffy dolls you buy at an airport gift shop to bring your kid when your business trip is taking too long. Damn. He's even going after Bugs Bunny, not just LeBron. I've worked with 3 people that have this magical quality that they affect people no matter what. They see them and some light goes on, he said. Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, and Madonna. I could see all that. All 3 have this quality where people connect immediately without understanding anything about them. And nobody else has that quality. LeBron is a fantastic basketball player. He's a top 20 basketball player of all time. He's not Michael. Maybe they should call it something else. They should not call it Space Jam 2 or whatever they called it. It should be another movie. It's not Space Jam. Space Jam is Michael Jordan. No matter how much LeBron wants to be a great player, and he is a great player, he's not Michael Jordan. There will never be another Michael Jordan. Ouch. He not only cut into the movie and LeBron's, presence there compared to Michael Jordan, which I said that as well in my review, by the way. But he not only cut into, he kind of sort of had a bit of a dig at the man personally. And I know a lot of people have issues with LeBron James, and I've heard things about the guy. I don't know anything about him. I've heard he's got some beliefs and stances he's taken a lot of people don't like. He's a very love-hate thing going on there. I don't know. That's whatever. I judge the movie for what the movie was, regardless of what personal stuff is. But this guy, he really tore into him. If anybody has anything, if their words should be listened to about a film, it's probably the guy who directed the original that was successful. This movie was just trying to emulate anyway. I thought that was pretty funny. I mean, there's not much more to it. That's it. The original director of Space Jam does not approve of Space Jam: A New Legacy. And more so, he pretty much doesn't approve of shit. I mean, he even said that the the soundtrack was insignificant, and I'm with him there, man. The soundtrack of the original Space Jam, regardless of the quality of the film, was just kind of iconic. It went with it. It got you pumped. I mean, yes, it was a lot of Quad City DJs and stuff like that, but it was just music that really just it was, when you hear that music, you think of that movie initially or immediately. There's a lot of songs that have been in movies that don't necessarily make you think of the movie that they're in. Quad City DJs, like Space Jam. Well, I mean, it's called Space Jam. That's one reason. And the Seal song that was in there and all that, and the R. Kelly song. You think of Space Jam when you hear those songs, because that's how connected to that movie they are. And it had a great soundtrack. I remember having it. I used to listen to it. I had the tape, and I listened to it in my 1991 Escort I was driving at the time. Hell yeah. Had some big 15-inch subwoofers in the back. Went around bumping Quad City DJs, Space Jam, and also The Train. Just saying. It was in Tootsie Roll era. FYI. Those of you that didn't know something about me, there you go. Imagine that for a moment. Also had a big Gold Fist air freshener on the dashboard there. Oh yeah, I did. Had no shame. I have no shame now. I had no shame then. But anyway, yeah. So movie's getting trashed all around, and original director not a fan either. You ain't Michael Jordan, LeBron, is what he's saying. And I'm not a basketball fan, so I can't really comment on his basketball skills. But as far as his acting, not skill so much as his presence, because let's not get it twisted. Michael Jordan wasn't a great actor either, but he did have presence. He had a natural charisma and charm that even though he wasn't a great actor, when he was on screen, you wanted to watch him. He's just something so likable about him. And I agree with what Pika says here, is that few people actually have that thing. They have that just presence. You could sit there and watch him read the phone book, and it's entertaining, and most people don't. And Michael Jordan is absolutely one of those people that have it. But yeah, that's Space Jam getting railed by everybody, including the person that I'm sure the director of this new one really wanted to actually like it, but it is what it is. Sorry, man. Life's a bitch. Okay, so as far as trying to take old things and make them new again, much like they did with Space Jam, we've got another thing, two properties, in fact, that were old both, and they took them and made them new. And now people are saying, well, why don't we take these two old things that we made new and just smash them together? Because, fuck it, why not? And there's no way to really roll into this thing. It's Transformers versus G.I. Joe. Is this a thing? Like, really? Transformers versus G.I. Joe? I guess so. Apparently they've done it in the comic books many times. I want to say I was vaguely aware of that. I mean, at face value, when I first hear it, I'm on the surface, I'm like, what? Why? I mean, I guess they're both Hasbro, I think. I'm pretty sure they're both Hasbro. I could be wrong. They're both from the same era, but I just don't see it. But considering where the Transformers movies have ended up going now, I guess I could kind of see it if you included threw G.I. Joe in there somewhere. I don't know how much of a difference G.I. Joe being in place of the Army and Marines and all that in the movies would really make much of a difference. Maybe just having some characters people are familiar with. I mean, maybe this is what... Because say what you will about the Transformers movies, I'd say that there's better Transformers movies out there than there are G.I. Joe movies. The G.I. Joe movies just haven't been very successful or received very well at all, the three that we have. And the Transformers movies, while they have their ups and downs, I think they have more ups than the Transformers movies. So maybe that's what the G.I. Joe movie needs to do, or G.I. Joe's IP needs to do, is get in bed with Transformers, and maybe they can end up in a decently reviewed film. Me, myself, personally, I think if they took this thing and just went wild with it, just said fuck it, threw it all to the wind, and went crazy, they could actually maybe have something kind of interesting and fun here. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong. Who am I? I don't know what the story is in the comic books from back in the 80s, but I think that they could do something. I don't know if that's what they're going to do. Probably not, considering this story. Let's take a look at this and see what the higher-ups think about the idea. They don't think very highly of it, spoiler alert. Even after years of dead-end G.I. Joe movies and overlong Transformers sequels, fans have still expressed interest in seeing both franchises together on the big screen. Have they really, though? Maybe. But for some reason, Paramount Pictures hasn't ever been on board. I'm going to butcher this name, by the way. Di Bonaventura is the producer of one of them. I think he's the producer of the G.I. Joe movies. The truth of the matter is the studio has always been against that. Every regime that's been at Paramount is against it because it's taking two franchises and making them one. But I think it is inevitable. I wouldn't say inevitable. I wouldn't be totally against it. It's something new, I guess, but inevitable? No. I don't really see why they'd have an issue with taking two, because I understand if you have two big franchises and you're like, well, I don't want to take these two big franchises that are making money and just make one movie when I can make two movies. I get that. But G.I. Joe ain't making money. These movies have not been successful. The first one may have, just riding on its name, made a little bit of money out the gate. But the other ones, including the most recent one, they're just not very successful movies. So if anything, they might add at least a little bit to the Transformers. But I don't know. Let's read on. I just think that we haven't run out of storytelling. To require us to put them in there together in a sense. I don't know about you, but Alien versus Predator, in a way, besmirched both of them. Stephen Capable. Oh, and what he's talking about is the whole Alien versus Predator thing, because, Alien vs. Predator finally, after years, it started as a comic book as well, by the way, graphic novel. Finally, after years and years, got its movie with, what was that, 2006? Was it 2006? 2005? That was earlier than that. I think it was 2004. Alien vs. Predator, AVP. Wes Anderson's AVP, or Paul W.S. Anderson's AVP. And then it got a sequel, the Alien AVP Requiem, which was received very poorly. Both of them, neither of them were received like great, but the first one was at least received okay. The second one's pretty much trashed by everybody. So that franchise, you took these two iconic franchises and mashed them together, and it didn't really take off. So I guess he's saying that movie or those movies kind of ruined the idea of mashing things together. But look at Freddy vs. Jason. That was really popular, and that was actually really enjoyable too. I know it's probably not going to happen again because the Jason franchise is in limbo, or it'll be a real long time, but whatever. Anyway, Stephen Capel, who is directing Transformers right now, is a huge G.I. Joe fan too. And he was like, why aren't you doing that? Everyone was like, well, try to make a Transformers movie really good. Then we'll talk about that. Maybe Steven will be the one to crack through because he loves them both so much. Good luck there, Steven. I doubt it. I mean, he's making this... The new Transformers movie is like the Beast Transformer. That was after my time. I'm not sure, but it was the Transformers that are like, robot gorillas and stuff like that and all that, and animals, the animal beast formers. I don't know what the hell they're called, but he's making that movie right now in the Transformers universe. So he's saying, I guess they're saying, if you make this and it's a good movie and it makes a lot of money or whatever, then maybe we'll get our G.I. Joe Transformers mishmash. Who is that? Much like I said about Snake Eyes, who the fuck is asking for this? They say the fans are yelling for it. What fans? I'm not saying there's no G.I. Joe fans out there. Sure there is. I remember G.I. Joe. Would I call myself a fan? I mean, when the movies come around, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I'll watch that. But I don't know if I'd call myself a fan. I'm a casual fan, perhaps. But I mean, really, how many like legit, how many hardcore G.I. Joe fans are out there? Maybe I'm totally blind to it. You don't hear about them. You don't hear much from them either. So who's this? Because this is the first I've heard about people wanting, just really like vehemently wanting this G.I. Joe Transformers crossover, and they're acting as if, oh man, like with AVP, people have been asking for that for years. You heard about it all the time, about just make an AVP movie, put Aliens and Predator together. They would tease it here or there and all this. They're like, stop cock teasing us and just give us the damn movie. You heard about it a lot though. I don't hear about this. Now, granted, I'm not the be-all, end-all of movies for sure, but I've never heard anything about this. This is the first time. Maybe I just am listening to the wrong, putting my ear to the wrong parts of the ground or something. But hey, if you are that G.I. Joe super fan out there, or just a huge Transformers fan and anything 80s, or if you're a fan of both, like a super fan of both, it's small, but there is a speck of light at the end of the tunnel. You may eventually get your Transformers G.I. Joe mashup movie. I mean, I would be cool with it. I'd be interested in it. But I really wish if they did it, they would just they'd go all out with it. I don't think they will. I think if they do, it would be the Transformers universe, cinematic universe we have now, and the G.I. Joe cinematic universe we have now, neither of which is goofy enough, and then they'll just kind of converge somewhere. I mean, it'll pretty much be G.I. Joe. The Joes will take over the military presence in the movie, and maybe have a little bit more of a presence. But beyond that, I don't see it. That just seems boring to me. I'm like, that do something more, man. Go hog wild with it. You got big ass robots in this anti-terrorism army group that's really over the top with like ninjas dressed in black that don't speak, I mean, go crazy with it. But I doubt they will. But who knows? I mean, we probably won't even ever get this movie. This is probably the last time you'll ever hear anything about it. But who knows? Maybe we will down the road. We'll see. So from big-ass robots to big-ass heroes, we're going to go into talking about superheroes, and our good friend James Gunn has some opinions about where the superhero genre is going, and he thinks it might be getting kind of boring. So James Gunn recently spoke and is doing the rounds for the Suicide Squad that's coming out. And when asked about, the state of superhero movies as they are now, the pretty outspoken director had this to say: "We know about the way cowboy films went and the way war films went. I don't know. I think I don't have to be a genius to put two and two together and see that there's a cycle to those sort of films. And that the only hope for the future of comic book and superhero films is to change them up. They're really dumb, and they're mostly boring for me right now. Damn." And this is coming from a guy who directs superhero and comic book movies. He's in fact doing two of them right now, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and The Suicide Squad. So that's kind of crazy that he's saying that. It's not crazy because it's something that I've thought for a while. They're losing steam, and he's right. Look at history of cinema, and there's always been an influx in a certain genre at any given time, and they last for a while. Cowboy films, while now a Western is kind of like, really a Western? That's not going to make any money. But man, there was a time when that's where it was at. The Westerns were the thing. They were everywhere, and that went away, and there was a time that war films were like that. War movies were the thing, and sword and sandals films in the early 2000s and maybe the late 90s a little bit, with like Gladiator. Gladiator actually in 2000 spurred a lot of that, but those movies. Zombie films more recently, and they've started to taper off. We still get them well past their expiration date, but they're there. I mean, it's a big thing. There was a while there you could not go a weekend without there being a new zombie movie coming out. Kind of, sort of like that now, but not quite as bad as it was. So superhero films have been around now. I mean, they've been around forever, pretty much, but they've been around as popular as they are right now. Some would say at the beginning of the MCU. I'm going to say around the beginning of 2000. X-Men was actually the one who spurred it all. And let's be real, man. There's some really good ones out there. There's some interesting ones, some fun ones, but they are starting to lose steam a bit. The MCU has just become kind of a machine that churns out regular movies, and they're just losing a bit of their luster, in my opinion. And it's not just the MCU. They're just the big dogs. Of course, they get picked on the most. It's all of them. And I'm wondering when people, the general populace, is just going to kind of lose interest. And I don't think we're far away from that. I think people are starting to already lose interest. He went on to say, "I loved them at the beginning. I was really excited when they first started making those movies. It was about the visual effects when I saw Superman as a kid. I still love that movie. Okay, I know it's a guy on wires and a blue screen and with this sort of crappy visual effect. And then when Iron Man came out, I was in. You're able to make a guy fly around who looks like a guy flying around. And that was a beautiful thing to be able to do. But if the movies don't change, it's going to get really, really, really boring. I'm with him. I don't think it's going to get really boring. And he even said they're really dumb and they're boring for him now. I think that they are boring. Not all of them. There are the exceptions, of course. There's some good ones. His movies, in fact, and I'm not, just shilling for him, but the Guardians of the Galaxy films were some of the standouts in the MCU. But, I mean, look at the past few MCU films we've gotten. What was the last great one? Look forward to the next ones besides Doctor Strange, which seems like an interesting idea because of the people involved like Sam Raimi and the fact that they're taking it in a different direction. Look at everything MCU. You've got Spider-Man Far From Home. It was aight. Black Widow. Aight. Everything since Endgame has just been kind of, it's fine. It's whatever. It's kind and another word for that is kind of boring. You're not excited about these anymore. Shang-Chi looks like it's going to be I hope these are better movies. I hope they're great, but none of them are really like blowing me away. The Marvel Disney Plus shows, which are pretty much like long movies, I really did enjoy Loki, but really, I mean, was it just like amazing? No, but it was really entertaining. I did like it. But look at the other two, WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. They ranged from all right to just not very good. And other movies, they're not doing. I mean, you've got Zack Snyder's Justice League, which was a really interesting experiment unto itself. But look at the original Justice League. DC's not doing a whole lot better. I mean, yes, they're doing really neat, interesting things with like something like Joker. But for every Joker that you get, 10 Captain Marvels or Suicide Squad, the first one, not this new one, or whatever, those movies, or Aquaman even. I really enjoyed Aquaman, but let's be real, it's just, is it something that's really just like fresh and new? No, it's all a lot of the same thing. And I think this is the route we're going. He didn't mention the zombie film craze like I did, but I think that was the most recent one. And I think that within 10 years, within just a few years, I think that we're going to start to see the superhero movie craze start to die out. And I'm not saying that we're going to stop seeing these movies, but I think that much like all of these other genres that have been big throughout the years, they're going to outstay their welcome. They're going to continue to make them, but I think that the general populace is just going to be kind of like, I'm kind of over it. And I think we might actually be there right now. I think we're going to get another influx of these comic book movies for the rest of this year. The end of the year, we've got quite a few of them coming out. And if one of them isn't just like a huge, just like bam, just the one that really revitalizes things, I think that people are going to start to say, I'm wanting something else. I'm not looking forward to it as much. I'm hearing more and more people, and I know I keep going back to the MCU, but let's be real, they're just the biggest game in town. More and more people are saying that they're just not as excited by the MCU anymore. And there's a reason behind that. It's getting tired. We're wanting what's the new trend? What's the new thing? I hope it's something exciting and not something like total shit. But I think that comic book movies I hope it's sci-fi, actually. I do. I know. I'm the nerd here. I'm the super nerd who loves sci-fi and fantasy. I don't think fantasy will ever be... Lord of the Rings was as close to that as we got. I don't think it's ever going to be like such a monumental thing as some of these other movies, but I could see sci-fi doing it. Look, Star Wars, the 80s spurred tons of sci-fi. I hope sci-fi makes a big comeback. I'm wanting there to be tons and tons of awesome sci-fi, because that is probably beat for beat my favorite genre of all genres. You could take other genres and mishmash them with sci-fi, but sci-fi alone is probably my favorite genre of all. So the selfish me says, I hope it's sci-fi. But James Gunn, he's with me. He agrees. I've been saying this. He thinks that these movies are kind of getting boring. I mean, part of me hopes that they don't get too boring too quick, because I just started a comic book movie review series. There's a lot of movies in that, so I need people to keep some interest in that while I'm reviewing those movies, please. Not that there was a lot of interest in video game movies when I reviewed those, but you know what I mean. The more interest, the more views, and yeah, I could use those. Anyway, that's James Gunn's thoughts on superhero movies. What do you guys think? Do you think superhero movies are getting tired and boring? Do you think that they're going to kind of go the wayside? Like I said, they don't go away immediately, but do you think that the public interest in that whole genre is just started to wane or going to wane or is going to go away here in the next couple of years? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down there in their comments. Alrighty, well, speaking of maybe sci-fi, I don't know. It's definitely not comic book. Well, I don't think it's comic book related or comic book movie related. There's a new movie coming out. These next few stories are all about new movies that are coming or starting. But we got our first peek at Jordan Peele's new flick, and it's called Nope. That's it. And really all we got is a poster. This poster right here it's got a town with a cloud or something above it. And I'm not sure if that's like a tentacle or something coming out of it. It might be hard to see in this picture, but look it up. Or if it's like, it almost looks like one of those flag things, the strings that have flags on them at like car lots and stuff. I don't know, but it's like a little town in the mountains, and there's a big cloud above it, and it's called Nope. I like the name, I ain't gonna lie. It really intrigues me. What the hell is Nope? Nope. That's the name of the next mind-bending thriller from Jordan Peele. We don't really know if it's mind-bending or a thriller, because really the description gives us absolutely nothing. But hey, they're saying it's a mind-bending thriller from Jordan Peele because I guess that's what he usually makes. I know Jordan Peele is a sci-fi fan, so I wouldn't be surprised if this has some sci-fi elements to it. Look at his other movies. Even his first one, Get Out, it had sci-fi elements. And then his next one, Us, definitely had some light sci-fi elements as well. I hope this has the potential of being like going full on sci-fi. I hope he does it. But anyway, other than the poster's tagline, which describes Nope as a new terror from the mind of Academy Award winner Jordan Peele, little to no information has been made public about the upcoming film. We do know, however, that Daniel Kaluuya is starring in Nope alongside Keke Palmer and Steven Yeun. Daniel Kaluuya was the guy who was in the main character in Get Out. And Steven Yeun, of course, is from The Walking Dead. What's his name? I can't remember his name. The Asian character guy. Oh, what was his name? If I hadn't said Steven Yeun, I'd be... he's the main character, the Asian guy. Glenn. Was it Glenn? I'm pretty sure it was Glenn. Keke Palmer, I don't know who she is without seeing a picture, so I'm not as familiar with her. Her name seems somewhat familiar, but it might just be Keke. That's what makes it stand out. But the Universal Pictures film is scheduled to debut in theaters on July 22nd, 2022. So right at about a year from now, we're going to get this movie. That's what Jordan Peele... That's all we got. That is it. That's the information. But Jordan Peele, he's made some... His movies have been... His first movie, I think, was universally... A lot of people did like it. Us, but... Not Us. Get Out. But Us was a little bit... at first, I think it was... Everybody thought it was universally accepted as a really great movie, but then a lot of people started coming out and saying they didn't enjoy it as much. So it was kind of divisive. I like Jordan Peele. I think I've liked him since Key and Peele, and I think that he takes on some really interesting projects. His style, and he usually has an underlying theme to his storytelling, and a lot of the greatest stories out there do have that for sure. He's never taken it so far to where it's kind of like eye-rolling or anything, or I didn't think so at least. I know some people do, but I didn't. I just hope that in this current climate that we're living in now, and probably still will be in 2022, I'm sure, over the past, 8 or so years, having those type of themes sometimes, I just hope he doesn't take it too far. That's all I'm asking. Stick with, his filmmaking itself, I really enjoy. I think he's made some really good films, and I'm interested in this one from the poster, but I mean, it's just a poster. Nope. I won't be saying nope when Nope comes out. I'll say, yep, I'm going to go see that. That was really corny, but you know what I mean? I don't know what to say about this. I'm getting sci-fi vibes. I'm getting definite sci-fi vibes, like some heavier sci-fi vibes than he has shown us in the past. So I'm kind of excited about this. As I mentioned a moment ago, that is my favorite genre, and I'm hoping that he gives us something like an awesome sci-fi story. I think that could be really fun. But how about you guys? What do you think about Jordan Peele as a director overall, his previous works, and are you interested for Nope? Some of you, I'm sure, will say, nope, I'm not. Yeah, those jokes are just going to keep on coming. I can't wait until the reviews of that movie hit in a year. That the word nope is going to be used a whole lot of times. Like, if the movie sucks, a lot of people are going to be like, they're just going to open their videos and be like, nope. or some shit. I don't know. It's going to be some corny ass shit like that. You know how we reviewers do that shit. We always come up with these corny ass bullshit in the beginning of the videos trying to be clever, and then we find out everybody was doing the same damn thing. So whatever. Kind of like when Parasite came out and everybody's thumbnail had the black bars across like on the poster. Yeah, we all did that shit. Anyway, moving on from there, another movie that's getting started, and this is an interesting one because this is a really big property that's getting, it's not a reboot, it is a sequel, but they are getting the Halloween treatment, the Halloween 2018 treatment, where they're taking this popular property and they're making a sequel, even though it already has sequels, but they're taking an even different approach here, and this is actually the guy who did Halloween, and I'm talking about The Exorcist. David Gordon Green is giving us an Exorcist sequel. By the way, David Gordon Green was the director of 2018's Halloween. It's going to be like David Gordon Green's Halloween sequel. Oh, this is also coming from Blum, the guy who's over Blumhouse Pictures. I can't remember, Don? No, not Don. I can't remember. It's Blum. It's the guy who's over all that. Anyway, it's going to be like David Gordon Green's Halloween sequel, Blum told Den of Geek. I think it's going to be pleasantly surprise all. It's going to pleasantly surprise all the skeptics out there. We had a lot of skeptics about Halloween, and David turned them around, and I think he's going to turn them around with The Exorcist. You know, I will say, I never hated Halloween. I thought it was fine. I never thought of it, and I love John Carpenter. But when it came to Halloween, it just never really spoke to me as much. Everyone I know loves those movies and loves the first one, at least especially. And I know it's hugely popular, and a lot of people say it's one of the greatest out there. I didn't hate it. I didn't dislike it. It just wasn't my thing. It never really did it for me. I didn't care for Halloween. And I wasn't really looking forward to seeing 2018's Halloween. My wife actually was the one who was really hyped for it. It took her to see it. And I really liked 2018's Halloween. I don't know why. I know that I think overall more people liked it than didn't. But I did. I enjoyed 2018's Halloween and actually went back. And again, we watched Halloween before we went and saw that. And I still was of pretty much the same mind that, yeah, it's fine. It's not really my thing. But then a few months later, or probably like a year later on Halloween, the next year we watched Halloween again. And I actually enjoyed it a bit more that time. Halloween, the original Halloween. So I did like what he did with Halloween, and this kind of echoes that experience because I'm not a huge Exorcist fan. I know that's another piece of blasphemy, especially someone who claims to be a movie lover. The Exorcist has never done it for me. I understand when it came out, a lot of people, some of the things that people found scary about it was the religious aspects and how it did challenge some popular religious beliefs. Just doesn't do it for. It didn't do it for me. So, I don't enjoy The Exorcist. I don't think it's a bad movie. I just don't think it's a movie for me. It just doesn't do it for. I find it, dare I say, boring. I look at it and I'm like, this is a competent film. And if you're really into that kind of thing, I think maybe it could be something, but it's just not for me. So, never been a huge fan of The Exorcist. But I'll be interested to see this just because of the person who's making it and to see if maybe it will revitalize or not revitalize, but maybe kindle an interest in me for The Exorcist like the Halloween film he did. Anyway, The Exorcist has been written. That was one of my pandemic projects. It's not inaccurate. And it will be a sequel to the original film. I like The Exorcist movies, Green said. And not only do I like them, I think they can all fall into the acceptable mythology for what I'm doing. It's not like I'm saying, pretend The Exorcist 2 never happened. That's fine to exist. They're all fine to exist, and I'll and I enjoy all of them. Now, this is interesting because with his Halloween sequel, Halloween 2018, that is what they said. They said, okay, in this world, the other Halloweens have not happened. This is it. This is Halloween, the sequel. There's Halloween, and then there's Halloween 2018. So he was, exercising, the other Halloween sequels. This time he's saying they can coexist, but this is a direct sequel to the original movie. That's interesting. I wonder how they're going to do that. Maybe it takes place in between Exorcist and Exorcist 2. I'm not as familiar with Exorcist 2, so I can't say what time frame is between them. Who knows? We'll see, though. It's another fun legacy to be part of, and hopefully we'll get that going in the near future. That one is a lot of research rather than just impulsive screenwriting, he said. That's one that you talk to a lot of people. You read a lot of books and do a shitload of interviews. There was such a dramatic authenticity to what that original film is. It's a lot more than I anticipated getting into it, and I guess I was naive to think that. But it was very exhilarating to be involved in a lot of those conversations that you find in yourself. Find yourself in. There's no news of when we can expect the new Exorcist sequel, but the 50th anniversary of the original film is in 2023, so that's probably a good guess. Oh yeah, I bet a 50th anniversary, there's going to be a lot of Exorcist talk going on. I bet this movie's coming out around Halloween of 2023. So probably about 2 years. Yeah, 2 years and change from now, I bet. I would probably put money on that. That's plenty of time for them to make this movie, get everything hashed out. Seeing as how the screenplay is already completed and they've given it the go-ahead. So, yeah, I don't really have a lot to add to it, except for I will be interested in seeing this just because of the director and the writer and director, because what he did with Halloween and kind of turned me around on that. So I'm interested to see what he does here. I would be really, if he takes that same care and clearly has a love for the property, then it sounds like he did and does. So I would be interested to see what he does with it. I mean, it might not work for me still. I might see it and just be like, okay, these themes just don't work. I mean, it's not the themes in Halloween that I didn't like. It was just the movie itself just never did it for me. It was that, and the themes in The Exorcist just didn't interest me, and they didn't do it. So I don't know. We'll see, though. I will definitely give it a chance, and hopefully, I never hope to see a bad movie, so I hope it is a good movie. Not just a good movie, but a good movie that I enjoy. And we'll find out, if I had to guess, probably about 2 to 2.5 years in 2023. But what do you guys think? Exorcist fans out there, you like The Exorcist? Most likely, most of you like The Exorcist more than I did. Once again, not calling it a bad movie, just not a movie for me. I acknowledge that it is a well-made film, but, is what it is. Now, from The Exorcist, from one paranormal, hint, hint, thing to another, we're jumping into a series that I was pretty sure was done and over with, but I apparently wasn't the only one. Apparently, the higher-ups at the company that makes these films was also thinking that this series was done. And I'm talking about Paranormal Activity. Not only are they making another one, but that shit's already done. They've already made another one, and we didn't even know it. The fuck? Mega producer Jason Blum, that's who we were talking about a moment ago, Jason, not Don, said that the Paranormal Activity, has been quoted saying that the Paranormal Activity franchise is tired and done. Now, coming off of that, he said that a while back. Coming off of that, he said not only is there is a new movie coming, and not only is it already shot, but it's expected to drop this year, which I imagine will be around Halloween. That's when they drop these movies usually. So we'll be getting a trailer for this thing anytime now, I assume. And Bloom said that in order to be talked into continuing the series, he told the creative team involved to completely reboot it, noting that today's primary audience were toddlers when the first one came out. Will Eubank, director of the very cool Underwater, is behind the camera, while Happy Death Day's Christopher Landon wrote the screenplay. That should boost interest just by itself, but then there's the bigger question at hand. Assuming Paranormal Activity is going to remain found footage, do audiences give a shit about the format anymore? And it says the studio is waiting for is wanting to put the film on its streaming service, Paramount Plus, by the way, as well. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here. Not really a lot, but whatever they got going, for Bloom to give it the go-ahead and say, yeah, okay, go ahead and do it, you would think, okay, well, he said it was himself, it was tired and done, but then he greenlit this and they've made it, so they must have come up with something that interested him. And I'm going to say that something is dollar signs, if nothing else. Yes, they may have come up with an interesting story and one that's worthy to be made, but these movies make money. They are very cheap to make, and it does not take much for them to turn a profit. Like, they usually are turning a profit within one weekend, and then everything else is just straight profit. So that's probably what Jason Blum sounds like. Yes, of course, he's an executive. He's there to make money. But it sounds like he does care about the creative process, at least to a degree. He wants to put out at least entertaining film, good movies that his audience is wanting. You know, some people say they're bad. Some of them are bad. But he wants to put out movies that the audience that these movies are for are going to enjoy. He didn't want to put out shit. Even though some of those later Paranormal Activity movies, from what I understand, were pretty bad. I, much like the last film we were talking about, The Exorcist, have never been a huge fan of Paranormal Activity. They were fine. I watched the first 2 or 3 of them. Saw bits and pieces of the other ones. I was not as blown away by it as some other people were. I thought the first one was interesting, and then as they went on, they got, more and more ridiculous, in my opinion. It never captured my imagination as much as some people's it did. But they were okay. I mean, they were watchable. I was fine with them, but I'm not gonna go back and watch them again or anything. Will I watch this movie? I don't know. Maybe. If I watch this movie, it'll be because I'm watching it with someone, and that's probably why I probably will not set out to watch this movie on my own unless it starts getting really good buzz going for it and people are like, oh yeah, it's absolutely worth checking out. Because the Paranormal Activity franchise just doesn't, I don't see it, I don't consider it a high quality franchise right now. But hey, maybe they came up with something really good. But what people are saying, oh yeah, that's why. It's been greenlit because, he said it was crap, and they got, they're showing that they've got something good. That's why he's going to do it. No, I think they're showing that they got something that's going to make money. That's what it is. Maybe good too. And I'm sure that he does, more than some executives, does care about putting out movies for his audience. But I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in this series. However, I will say I do have faith in Will Eubank and Christopher Landon. Both of them have turned in some really good work. Underwater, which Will Eubank directed, what was that, 2 years ago now? 2-3 years ago? Was really good. I really enjoyed Underwater. It was much better than I ever thought it was going to be. And that was a movie that I remember seeing the preview, because that movie previewed 8 months before it came out. They had trailers for it. And everybody was like, oh, this movie is going to be crap. It looks like ass. I didn't think so. I thought it looked great. Now I remember saying, I think this movie looks like it's going to be awesome. I'm excited to see it. And everybody's like, ah, you're crazy. And it came out. Nobody saw it, but the people that did see it were like, that movie was awesome. And, it got new life on video, and that's when that movie had legs. And everybody said, Underwater was actually really damn good, because it was. Had a great ending, too. And Happy Death Day, I'm sad to say, Happy Death Day, I actually own Happy Death Day 2. I've not watched it because I haven't seen Happy Death Day 1. But I know the premise of it, and I'm really interested in seeing it. It's not that I don't want to see it, I just haven't had an opportunity. I probably need to watch that soon. But I really like the idea behind it, and I've heard nothing but great things about it. And the second one I heard, while it's not as good, it's still a good time. It's a great complimentary piece. So these guys have done some really good work. And now they're working on this franchise. Maybe they're going to turn in something good. Maybe they did. It's already done. They did turn in something good. But at the end of the day, the movie's fucking made, and we're getting it this year. That's crazy. It is crazy how this past year there have been whole movies that have been made that nobody knew about, like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. Nobody knew about it until after it was already fucking done. And this movie, it's done. They're telling us about it because, oh yeah, we already made it. It's done. That's crazy, man. Coming from big known properties like that. This isn't some indie or something that we've never heard of, that nobody was paying attention to anyway. So I think that's crazy. And apparently it's coming to, or they're shooting for Paramount Plus. I don't have Paramount Plus. I don't really know anybody who does have Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus seems like one of those. I don't think it's there yet. It's one of those streaming services I think they need to roll into another streaming service. at least to get off the ground. Maybe that's just me. Maybe Paramount Plus is really crazy, stupid popular, and I just am not aware of it. I don't know. There's nothing really tempting me to go over to Paramount Plus right now. They need more, and this probably won't be it either. But those of you that are huge fans of Paranormal Activity, check out Paramount Plus because it's probably coming there. And even if it's not, it is coming out this year, and I would be willing to bet money it'll be around October. So there you go. Paranormal Activity, horror movie, cheapo horror movie that, regardless of how good it does or does not do, I guarantee it'll make money. That's for damn sure. So there it is, people. If you're a fan, go check it out. Now, our last story of the evening is an interesting one. It's one that a lot of people, ever since this got dropped about 2 days ago, have been commenting on and had differing takes on. And let's just jump into it. There's a new we all knew that there was a Superman movie being worked on by J.J. Abrams, and the writer, what is this? I always butcher this guy's name. Ta-Nehisi Coates, I believe is how it's pronounced. And this particular person has written, and I've actually looked into some of it since I last reported on this individual and his writing style and him writing the Superman movie. Nothing exact has been put out about it, but it's pretty much all but confirmed that he's writing a Black Superman. I think actually it is confirmed that he is writing Black Superman, and that Superman is going to be Kal-El, which is Clark Kent, the traditional Superman. They're just race swapping him. Whatever, that's fine. That's not what we're here to talk about. Let's say that. That's whatever. I have my thoughts on that, not because of any racial stuff, just different things. This actually speaks to it. And there's another Superman thing being developed. There was a lot of people talking about Michael B. Jordan being involved with Superman at the time, and he flat out said, no, I'm not. Not with that Superman, at least, because Michael B. Jordan is jumping into Superman, kind of, sort of. He is doing a HBO Max show about Superman, but that Superman, or a Superman property called Val-Zod. And let's talk about that, which is, by the way, a quote-unquote Black Superman. But there's a difference here compared to the other one, and I like this. Michael B. Jordan and his production company, Outlier Society, are developing their own Black Superman project for HBO Max. The version reportedly centers on the Val-Zod incarnation of the character, a Kryptonian from Earth 2. Okay, before we go any further, I am not the most knowledgeable about Val-Zod and the different incarnations of Superman. But what I do know, and I do know this, I'm aware of Val-Zod, the character Val-Zod, enough, that, of course, in DC, much like Marvel, there are different universes, and they call them like Earth 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, blah, 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 blah. And we do get characters from these other Earths that come into this continuity, and they're different versions of characters that exist, or totally new characters. Val-Zod is the Kryptonian that has come to... I don't even know if they call him Superman on Earth 2. They may. He is a different character. He is not Kal-El, Clark Kent, the traditional Superman. He is a different Kryptonian that comes to Earth instead of Kal-El. And yes, he is a black man, and he is, or I guess, boy at the time, and he grows to manhood. Like I said, I don't know everything about his backstory. Now, I think he's the son of Zod, is what it is. Zod being Superman's main bad guy. I think he is the son of Zod. Pretty sure it's son of Zod. He is related to Zod, hence the Val-Zod name. But I think he's the son of Zod. He is black, and he takes up that mantle of the Super Kryptonian on Earth 2. I'm not sure if I think he's a good guy too, I'm pretty sure. Now, when they started announcing this Black Superman project that Ta-Nehisi Coates was working on, and they said, yes, we're going to be making Clark Kent black, there was a backlash to it from some saying, why? Why are you taking this character that this is just, that's what he's been for all this time, and you're race swapping him? And then, of course, other people started throwing names around and all that, and blah, 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 blah. I didn't get into that shit. That is what it is. Me, myself, personally, I don't really care so much about that. What bothers me about that is not that they're taking a traditionally white character and making him black in that version. It's that there is a black character already that exists within that world that is just as interesting, if maybe not more interesting, because it's a more lesser known original character, still very well known, but this is a fresher story you could be telling, but still within that world, still that character is still just as strong, that already exists. Why are you cucking that version? Why are you taking this version that you don't have to change anything for, because this version is, it's already there. That Superman exists. Why not make that movie? Is that one not good enough? I don't understand. Why do you want to, why change everything? It's not even the fact that it's being changed. If I was like just really just saying, oh, I want this type of thing to happen, I would be like, well, we've got that. What's wrong with the one that we already have? Why don't we give that character his opportunity to shine? And that is pretty much where Michael B. Jordan, that's what Michael B. Jordan has been hinting at, that, that's why apparently there was creative differences when he was in talks with J.J. Abrams and them and Coates about it did come up, and he was like, I'd rather do this Val-Zod character because that character already exists and he hasn't had his opportunity. Let's do that. And they were like, no, we have to take, traditional Superman and do it. And he's like, I don't want to do that. This is an interesting character that was built for this. Let's do that. And that's why they branched off, and now he's doing his own thing on HBO Max with that character. Anyway, the Val-Zod Superman project is currently being written as a limited series that Jordan will produce and possibly even star in, though he has yet to commit on the latter front officially. In the works for HBO Max, also, there's quite a few things. HBO Max has really stepped up their game as far as like superhero content goes, DC superhero content goes, which... what we were talking about a few minutes ago, this could be a bad thing or a good thing. But in the works for HBO Max are Batgirl movie. These are movies, not that show. But Batgirl, Blue Beetle, the Batgirl and Blue Beetle movies specifically made for HBO Max. A Static Shock project that Jordan is already involved in. A Justice League Dark project that likely could be a series, and a Constantine limited series in the works. Those things could all be cool, because a live-action Justice League Dark could be really cool. We all know that a Constantine could be really cool. Blue Beetle, I really don't know anything about. Batgirl could be cool, but Batgirl could also really suck. We've seen that happen. I've never seen the show. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't go off what everybody else says, but I mean, a lot of people say that show sucks. So I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know. I can't speak to it. I haven't seen it, but... Anyway, a while back, Jordan did say, I'm flattered that people have me in that conversation. It's definitely a compliment, but I'm just watching on this one, he said a while back, concerning the Superman movie that we knew about. And that was true, because he doesn't want anything to do with that one, because he wants to do Val-Zod, which I totally agree with. And that's not me saying, oh, he's black, so he should do the black guy. That's all, you can't do the white. No, I'm saying because this character over here seems actually like an interesting character that who doesn't know Superman's origin? Who doesn't know everything about Superman? We all know it. Tell me something a little bit fresher. Tell me an alternate version. All this multiverse and Earth 32 2s and 4s and 5s and all that, all the multiverse and interdimensional stuff in the comic book world, that's how they're trying to freshen up comic book movies right now, by the way, and shows and all that, by the way. That's what the comic books themselves did. All that stuff is the really big hype right now, so let's give this guy his opportunity. It's all the big hype because it's similar things that we know about, but they're telling it from a different perspective. They're giving us a fresh take on it. I really like that, and I'm really interested in seeing this version of it. Jordan has not wanted to engage in conversations about race-bending Kal-El for the same reason many of the fans are pushing back on current Warner Brothers reimagined version of Clark Kent, but that he would be interested in engaging on a Black Superman project centering on the Val-Zod storyline. There you go, man. That's awesome. I mean, it's not about the race bending. It's about the fact that we don't have to make it. It's already there. We don't have to change anything or come up with something. We already have it. Let's give this character deserves that opportunity. Let's give this character that already exists and has been developed and has a rich backstory and an interesting, I assume it's interesting because I don't know anything about it. That's the cool thing. Or I don't know as much about as like you do Superman, because we've heard the Superman story so many fucking times. Let's get something fresh, something familiar but fresh. I think that's really cool. I think this is a great idea, and I think this is how you do it. This is how you want to do that. This is how, and I really totally agree with Michael B. Jordan. Plus, in all honesty, I'm not going to get into it, but Coates, some of the things this individual has written, once again, I hadn't looked into it earlier when I had reported on his stuff before on this not this story, but the Superman that he's working on right now. Yeah, there's definitely, at least what I saw, I can't totally comment on it, but there's absolutely some really questionable things this person has written and some things that get a little bit too, there's too much current events involved in his work. And I don't like when they insert current events in your face, at least in my fantasy, because, and that's what superhero films are. They're fantasy, and you start injecting that shit into it, and it's like, I get enough of that. I've said this 100 times. I get enough of that shit in the real world. I watch these movies to get away from all that for 2 hours, and if you're putting it in there too, there's nowhere that's fucking safe. So stop it. Stop. Just tell me some fun, entertaining, interesting stories that ain't got shit to do with what's going on in this world that we live in. Okay, so yeah, I really like, and I'm afraid that that's what this new Superman, not the Michael B. Jordan one, but the other one, after some of the stuff I read about this guy, that I didn't read like people, this wasn't opinions, this was stuff he had written. I don't know. I have concerns about the other Superman movie, but whatever. All right, so that is it for this week as far as the stories go, ladies and jelly spoons. That's all we got. I told you it was a fairly slow week. I tried to pad some of that out and make it a bit more interesting. Those were the interesting stories. I know I talk quite a bit. That's just, you knew that coming into this podcast if you've listened to any of them before or my channel before. This is why I edit the shit out of my videos. But let's get you guys out of here real quick. We have a couple of more things to go over real quick, and we'll get out of here real quick. I do have 2 trailers to look at this week that I think that you guys will be interested in. I hope you are, at least. The first of which both of these just came out. I've not watched either one. They're both fairly short as well, and they're both based on pre-existing properties. One's a TV show, and the other one is not. And the first one's Chucky. Chucky is getting a new TV show. Yeah, we'd heard about it. And this isn't the 2019 Mark Hamill voiced Chucky reboot. This is OG Brad Dourif Chucky that we all know and love from back in the day. He has his own TV show now, or is about to, on Sci-Fi and USA, which I don't know, did they merge or something? But the first trailer, they had a teaser trailer come out about a week or so ago that was literally only a few seconds, so that's why I didn't comment on that. But this is actually about 2.5 minutes long, so maybe it'll give us a little bit of something extra. I don't know. I know Brad Dourif's in it, and it is within that universe, so let's see if the new Chucky trailer is worth digging into or not, or if the show will be worth digging into, rather. So here we go with Sir Charles.
Everyone has a Halloween they'll always remember. And this is Jake's.
Oh, it's my Halloween. Yeah. See, I like that Chucky so much more than the one from the 2019 movie. I did not like the redesign that much.
Jake, you into vintage?
No, I'm
It is so weird whenever I hear my
What's
name
the
in
difference?
movies.
about $10.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I like that. She looks like Diane Keaton.
Look at that. Someone took the butcher knife.
Oh, there's the laugh. We got the laugh. I love the laugh.
Hi.
Well, you're a friend of the end.
Chucky. Wanna play?
Uh-oh. What was that?
Jake,
Are you okay?
Why's he got the doll at school?
Pussy.
Oh, no, Jake, that isn't quite right.
What happened to you, Jake? You used to have friends.
Okay, he probably doesn't have friends because he's carrying this little kid doll around. Chucky finna fuck all them kids up.
Okay.
It's contagious, isn't it? Laughing at people. Well, guess
No.
what, Eds? Now the joke's on you.
Oh shit. Ooh, I like that. I like the prosthetic or the
And I'm your friend
doll.
to the end.
I'm assuming that's all practical. Oh shit.
Mommy says real killing is bad.
Yeah, well, Mommy's full of shit. Look around you. It's the
I love
World
Chucky.
Series of slaughter.
Stop. Did you feel that?
Everywhere Jake Wheeler goes, death seems to follow. This creepy doll just creeps me the hell out.
It's kill or be
I like the
killed.
doll, man.
Everybody's gotta choose.
It almost looks like,
You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
is he like teaching the kid to kill?
Chucky. He's gone.
Dude, you have a serious doll problem.
If you only knew.
That's actually pretty cool.
Kid, I'm gonna go kill your sister. Wanna come?
I'm sleepy.
You snooze, you lose.
All right. Well, that seemed pretty cool, actually. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know what to expect from a Chucky TV show. It seems like it's gonna be, it's on Sci-Fi, so I guess Sci-Fi can get away with having like some violence and stuff. So I'm thinking that looks like I'm definitely gonna check that out. I will check that out. It looked really cool. It looked like it's going to have that classic Chucky feel. He's got that smart-ass kind of attitude, and he's going to have that Brad Dourif is doing the voice, and I love that. We got the Chucky laugh. I mean, what else can you ask for? And it really, that just looked like it was a legit callback to the OG Chucky. I do wonder if I'm pretty sure he is the creator of Chucky, the original Chucky films, if he's involved with this. He's been involved with everything Chucky since the originals, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's involved with this as well. But yeah, this looked actually really good. I was surprised at how good that looked. I think that this could be pretty cool. It might be an absolute fucking dumpster fire, but it looks good. I really like the way it looked. It did not look cheap at all. It looked like it had a lot of, like, the prosthetics, or not the prosthetics, the doll, the Chucky doll itself looked really well done. Like, it didn't look cheap at all. It doesn't scream TV show. I think he's going to be grooming that kid to be a murderer. So, hey, that's something, I guess. I don't want to say that's good, but it's something. That's interesting. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, not a lot more to say about it. It did look good. It looked like classic Chucky, and that's the Chucky we all know and love. Even though I do still have a warm place in my heart for the Bride and Seed of Chucky films. I recognize they're not good, but I find them fucking hilarious. And even the new not reboot, but the newer Chucky. What was it called? I can't remember the one. Not the 2019 one, and not Cult of Chucky, but there was it Curse of Chucky? I think Curse of Chucky is the one where they're in the house, and it's actually Brad Dourif's daughter in real life who plays the girl in the wheelchair. That one was pretty good too. I actually have not seen Cult of Chucky, so I might need to check that out at some time. Have I seen it? I don't think I have. I've heard it was okay. Anyway, yeah, Chucky, Child's Play, whatever you want to call it. He's coming back. He's coming back to kill people and laugh about it. So hopefully, I don't know how they're going to do a show though. I'm wondering how it's not limited. I assume it's going to have like seasons and go on. So how are they going to, have continue a show, like just have a show go continuous like that for hopefully years? I'm sure they're hoping for. I don't know. I guess they'll figure it out. Jennifer Tilly's coming back from what I hear, so hey, that could be interesting. But yeah, Chucky or Child's Play, whatever they're calling it, Chucky. So yeah, I guess not Child's Play. Chucky, He's coming back to TV. And all the violence is coming with him, I guess. So that's cool. I'll check it out when it comes out. I think it said this year. It didn't really say when. October? I think it said October. Yeah, we'll find out in October. So from one TV show trailer, now we're going to jump into a movie trailer. And this is a movie I had heard that was coming, but I didn't think it was coming this quick. I didn't think we'd get a trailer for this thing probably for at least another 6 months or so. But here it is, because the movie that it's based on just came out really like, what, a month or two ago, if that? And that is not a sequel, and I guess somewhat of a prequel, but not even a prequel, more of a spin-off to Army of the Dead, and that would be Army of Thieves, which centers around I think his name was Dieter. Was that his name? I can't remember. Or is that the name of the actor? It's centered on that guy, the safecracker from Army of the Dead. And I have no idea if this has anything to do with zombies or not, if it's during the zombie outbreak, or if it's prior to it. I don't know, but we're about to find out in this little trailer they just dropped. So yeah, if you enjoyed Army of the Dead, or at least somewhat liked it, maybe you'll be into this, because there's more Army of the Dead, or at least Army of Thieves goodness coming. So let's check this thing out real quick.
Ludwig Dieter, we've been watching, and we want to recruit you. You're familiar with the outbreak in America?
Okay, so there is an outbreak, but it's in America.
The world's distracted. This window of opportunity isn't just our only chance, it's yours.
My only chance for what?
A life less ordinary.
So Zack Snyder making it said produced, so I guess he's not directing it. Oh, okay, so it's before the Dead.
Any questions?
No. Yes, many. Hundreds.
Okay, so yeah, Army of Thieves. You know, I don't know how much really beyond that one character. I don't think it really has anything to do with Army of the Dead, but I mean, it's not the sequel that some people were wanting, to figure out more of the little details about Army of the Dead. But I think what this might do, it looked like it could be fun. I think that this might feed into the thing that I think was the best part of Army of the Dead, and because Army of the Dead was okay, it had as far as a movie-going experience, it was fine. It was more entertaining than it wasn't, but it had its shortcomings, and I think its best part was its characters. It had a lot of interesting characters that you wanted to know more about, and I guess that's what this movie is going to give us. So it is playing off of the most interesting part of Army of the Dead, is the characters, and also the whole thing that went down prior to the movie that they showed like in the credits scene. I would have liked to see that movie, but anyway, he was one of the more eccentric, entertaining characters, I'll say that, in the film. So I am excited, or I'm interested in seeing this movie and seeing more about it, and seeing what kind of hijinks this character is going to get up to, because he was, he had like the quirky thing and all that going on. We'll see what a movie that's centered around him will be like when he's not just a side character, as we find out more about him. Could be fun, could be entertaining. I don't know. The movie, I mean, the trailer, if that's the tone of the movie, I like the tone. It kind of had this just fun, kind of exciting tone. It could be a fun movie. It seemed like maybe it wasn't quite as serious as Army of the Dead was. And I'm down with that, because while Army of the Dead's tone, I guess, kind of worked for it, I don't think that particular serious tone would work for a movie like this, or at least what they're presenting to us, what they're making us think this movie's going to be about. I think this movie needs to be a bit more lighthearted, a bit more comedic, and just have some really cool action scenes and some fun stuff with this character as we lead into Army of the Dead. So, yeah, that's what it is. I mean, what else can you say about it? It's Army of the Dead prequel spinoff, I guess. Sure. Are we going to get one for all the characters? Like, are we going to get like a prequel movie for all of them, or just this one? And if it is just this one, why'd they pick him? I mean, he was an interesting character and he was an entertaining character, but like the other characters, some of the other characters are interesting and entertaining as well. So I don't know. I know we're getting a prequel animated series, and supposedly, I think I just heard that they are doing a sequel, but it's happening after this other movie that Zack Snyder's working on. Which the other thing is, Zack Snyder did not direct this. It said he's producing it. It didn't say who's directing it, so we'll have a different style at least. I mean, he's producing, so I'm sure his input is definitely going to be there. This is his baby, but this world's his baby. I am wondering, how different it will be from a Zack Snyder joint, though, since he's just producing and not directing. I don't know. We'll find out soon. I imagine this thing's coming out real soon. I don't think it's said in the trailer when it's coming out, but I want to say I had heard that it is coming out this year. I could be wrong, but I think it's this year. Probably. If they're putting a trailer out to a Netflix movie out in July, then yeah, this will probably be coming out at least by the end of the year. But we'll find out then. Army of Thieves. I'll check it out. I'll definitely check it out. Hopefully it's really cool. But, hopefully it doesn't suck, because I hate wasting my time with shitty movies. All right, ladies and jelly spoons, that is all I've got this week. Besides, of course, the what's releasing this week. We don't have anything for Wednesday the 28th, but Friday the 30th, we have Stillwater with Matt Damon. I had an opportunity to go see a pre-screening of that I had to cancel. Kind of upset about it. Jungle Cruise, I'm not going to see that in advance, but I will see it when it comes out on Friday. The Green Knight, that's one I'm really looking forward to. That looks very interesting. I'm hoping I can get my hands on a pre-screening copy, but it is, as of right now, Monday night, and I have not yet. And it comes out this Friday, so probably not going to, but I will definitely be watching it. Lorelei, I don't know anything about that. 9 Days, don't know anything about that. Masquerade, don't know anything about that. And Ride the Eagle, don't know anything about that. Shocker. So if any of you guys know anything about Lorelei, 9 Days, Masquerade, or Ride the Eagle, and they are worth checking out, then let me know. Say, hey, you should check out these little movies. They're pretty awesome. But yeah, these other three, Stillwater, since I missed the screening, I might see it eventually, but I was not right. The only reason I was going to go to a pre-screening of it was because I got invited to it, so I wasn't like really hyped to see the movie. It might be great, I don't know, but nothing about it was like screaming to me, you got to see this. Jungle Cruise and Green Knight, those are the big movies of this week, and I'll be seeing those, and we'll be doing reviews on them. Also, upcoming reviews for this week on the channel, I have, as I said, The Green Knight. I also have my first comic book movie review coming this Wednesday with Batman 1966, Jungle Cruise, of course, and there will be a little bit more coming as well. Now, my Retro Wednesday is going to be a little bit different. Let's talk about this for a second. I am going to continue doing it, so don't, those of you that enjoy it, don't freak out. I'm still going to do Retro Wednesday, but I'm going to change up how I do Retro Wednesday. Times, all that is all going to be the same. I don't think I'm going to do a specific game anymore. That's not to say that I won't play a game a specific game the whole time, but I'm going to do a little bit more freeform, looser kind of thing now. It's just going to be my Retro Wednesday stream, and we might play multiple games. We might look at videos. We might do whatever. I don't know. We might just talk. Whatever. We're just going to do whatever. There's been a few times that I'd like pick a game and I'm like, oh yeah, this will be great. And then a few minutes into it, I'm like, I'm just not feeling this, but I keep doing it because, that's what I picked. I set it all up. So I thought, fuck that. I don't want to do things I don't want to do. So I'll pick a few. And like I said, sometimes we might not even play a game. Sometimes we'll just talk, or sometimes we'll go and look at some videos for whatever reason, or whatever, man. We're going to do whatever the hell we want to do. It's our oyster. So we're going to do whatever the fuck we want to it. So yeah, come join in on the fun. We won't be doing just the one, unless we come across something that's like insanely fun. We'll be kind of jumping around a bit in the Retro Wednesday from now on to keep it a little bit fresh and interesting. Now, the only time I really see that we'll probably be sticking to one particular game beyond something that's just like super epic is if it's something. I do want to get some more of those games like the Jackbox Party Pack. where a lot of you guys can come and we can play together, and you guys can, be on your phones and playing. That was really fun. I'd like to do that again or something like it. So that's the kind of direction I'm taking that whole thing. And I have a few other announcements coming soon. Nothing super major, but concerning my streams that I'll do that on the streams though. You guys will, those of you that come to the streams, you'll hear about that stuff then. Nothing major, but just a couple little changes here or there. And that's it, ladies and jelly spoons. That's all I've got this week. That's what's coming. That's what's come. That's the news that happened. What little there was of it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. A couple of trailers as well. Hopefully next week there's a bit more interesting news, and I'm not having to talk your ear off, just making up for what little news there was, because there just wasn't shit this week. But if you guys want, check out my Discord and my Patreon in the description below. If you want to help out the channel, go to that Patreon, check out some of those cool tiers. Hopefully there's some neat stuff there. If you are interested in my Patreon, but you're like, I wish it did this, I am open to hints and ideas and suggestions of different things to add to tiers to entice people to come on board and help out the channel. If you just want to talk to me more, or talk to my audience, my what do they call it? Not an audience, community more, join my Discord. It's in the description below as well. It's open to anybody who would like to join. Only cool people there, and we just talk good stuff. No like toxic bullshit or anything. Not a whole lot of people in there yet, but there are some really good people in there having some good conversations, so come and join the party. I also do have a tree spring. I don't have that in my description as of yet. There's some stuff on there if you really just want to like sport my gear, go ahead. It's there, but I have more designs coming that I'm working on, and the channel does have some changes coming very soon that I think that you guys will like, those of you that do enjoy my content. Upping my game, changing some things around, making some big changes to the way things look and things. So that's coming fairly soon. And but that's about it, guys. I really appreciate anybody who was listening and or watching this. Oh yeah, by the way, if you are watching it, check out the audio version. I finally figured out that issue I was having. They are all up. They are going up every week now. If you're interested in just an audio version while you're at work, walking around, doing whatever, walking your dog, taking a shit, whatever it is you're doing, and you want to listen to audio version, please check those out. I do still have an issue with iTunes. For whatever reason, it's not on there. That's an issue with the account. I'm trying to figure that out. I'm having issues because I don't own an Apple product, but I'm trying to use this Apple thing, and it makes you have to use an Apple ID, which I have, but it's giving me issues accessing it. Something happened with it, and since I don't have an Apple device, even though I have iTunes that I begrudgingly put on my computer so that I could do this thing, it's not recognizing that. I don't know. There's some bullshit. So if you have an iPhone and you want to listen to this and you don't have Spotify or something, I'm sorry. It's coming back eventually. But right now it is definitely on all the other major podcasting platforms. Check it out there. If you're an audio listener, the few of you that there are, and you would like to see the video version of this, check out my channel, Jacob Bender's Reviews. That is where it drops every Tuesday night at 9 o'clock Central Time, where we do a live preview, and you can chat with myself and my audience and my community as we listen to this podcast right now. But yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Thank you for everybody. This is episode 27. A couple more to go till 30. I have some plans for next week. Hopefully they come to fruition for next week's show. But I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I know it wasn't a whole lot going on, but if you made it this far, thanks for hanging out. Don't forget to hit that like button on your way out, and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're listening to the podcast, subscribe or whatever it is you do to get this feed sent to you every week. But yeah, that's all I got, guys. Really appreciate it, and I will see you all next week.